like, I was like,
Hey, everybody out there in internet land, James Jordan, Best Networker Live. I have my good friend Brian, aka Lead Monster, aka Instagram Graham King, Spectre here, and we're hosting this live training because just to break down a little bit about why we're doing this and exactly what it is that we're going to be doing for those of you that are watching live, and for those of you that are lucky enough to get the recording. Because to be honest with you, we're not going to leave this up for a long time. I honestly see us leaving this up available to the public for less than 24 hours because we're really just going to be raw and open and share with you what we're currently doing. And we're just going to be masterminding. So we're literally going to be going back and forth, talking about different things that we're looking to do in our business, just like we were talking about earlier. And how this came about was, I believe I had reached out to Brian earlier today just to say what's up, because he's been crushing it in his business over the course of the past couple days, and I'll let him elaborate on that in a second. But I reached out to him, and because we had a conversation late last week about where he was currently at and where he wanted to go in his business, and he was in a little bit of a fluctuating mindset state, right? And then he snapped out of it just like that, and I just wanted to reach out to him and just say, congrats and stuff like that. And we started to talk on Facebook, and I was like, well, dude, I was like, I'm not a prospect, you're not a prospect. Like, let's get on the phone, and it's faster, right? So we started to get on the phone. We started to talk for a little bit about different things that we were doing in our business and where we were looking to go. And then, Brian had to go do something, and I was taking care of my kids and everything. And then he called me back later, and I was outside playing with my kids, and my kids had like these bamboo sticks that they got out of the garden, and they were, they watch Ninja Turtles all the time, so they were basically kicking my ass while I was on the phone with Brian, right? And I'm like, dude, okay, I can't talk to you right now while I'm getting my ass kicked by my kids, right? My soon-to-be 4-year-old Malachi in about a week or so, and and my soon-to-be 2-year-old Josiah, they both were swinging at me with these sticks, and I couldn't do anything. I had a broom, but also was on the phone, and I'm concentrating talking to Brian, and I was just like, dude, listen, we're sitting here, we're masterminding. How about we do this live, and how about we, give it to the public, like Jalen Rose says. I don't know any of you that follow sports or go to Grantland.com, but Jalen Rose and this other guy has this podcast, and Jalen Rose just always says, "Give the people what they want." So we're gonna give you guys exactly what we're gonna be doing, what we're doing currently, and what our plans are for our businesses. That way you can kind of get a peek as to what we're going to be doing and where we're going. And you can, decide to be a part of the vision, or you can decide to be a bystander and just watch, right? But I'm sure after we break stuff down as far as what we're currently doing and where we're going in our business, you're going to want to align yourself with us in some capacity whatsoever. So with that being said, Brian, I'll give it over to you, brother. Take the ball and run with it.
all right, so yeah, I wanna I wanna tell people, like, I wanna just give them a little more detail on how we even got on this hangout, because every time James and I get on the phone, we're on the phone for like 5 hours, and then we were actually coming up with ideas on how we can save time, so that way we can be more creative in our business and actually get more done. So we just started masterminding about ways that we could leverage our business, and then we were talking, we had all these good ideas and stuff, and then yeah, we were like, wait a second, you hear all these ideas that are coming into our head. What if other people just heard our ideas and we leverage that, so that way we can knock two birds out with one stone? And I kind of had a breakthrough. I don't know who mentioned it, whether it was me or you, but I had a breakthrough where I realized that, like, you don't have to struggle. Like, you don't have to like, it's all in your mindset, really. And I'll take you back like a month ago, where my mindset was kind of messed up a little. Like, we just got back from an event in Charlotte, and I was really excited, I was really pumped up, and I'm just gonna be straight up truthful with what was going on with me, because I think being transparent, being honest, it's that's why people join your team. because they want to see who you are, what your message is, and how authentic you can be, and what direction that you can lead them in. So I had been crushing it really good in my business. Before we went to Charlotte, I got like about 27 people to join my team in a single month, and I was like really pumped up. And then just all of a sudden, like they all quit, and it kind of got me down because I was like thinking to myself like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And it actually got me a little depressed. Like I called James and I was like, I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong. And then he clarified it to me that it's not always your fault. Sometimes it's just the wrong people who they get in, they seem like they want it, they're really excited, but then they don't really have that drive that's keeping them doing what they need to do. It's like there's so many people who say that they want something, but they don't really go after it. And so I remember in Charlotte, on stage, I heard Michelangelo Lopez say that it's kind of like a deck of cards. You wanna you wanna find your aces, you wanna find your kings, you wanna find your queens, but along the way you're gonna find your twos, you're gonna find your threes, but you can't let that get you down. You can't let that affect you. And in my case, I did let it affect me, and I had to snap out of it because I realized that what was going on was, I was getting depressed because I was focusing on the problem instead of focusing on the solution. And what that did is it actually drained my energy to the point where I didn't even want to get out of bed because, I'd been working this business for a really long time. And finally, I had all this progress, and then it just like went down the drain. I'm it's kind of like I had to rebuild from scratch. And so um, James, I forgot what James told me, but he was like, Brian, wake up. Stop focusing on all the negative. You can do this. And sometimes we just have to be around, positivity, be around people who can encourage us to kind of kick us in the ass so that way we can go the direction that we need to go. And so, I was like, you know what? He's right. Um, he's right. Like, it's not my fault. These are just the wrong people. If I was able to do it before, I can do it again, but this time I can get quality people. This time I can actually get people who are dedicated, who actually have, the desire to do something with their life. And so I took an entire month to just sit back and analyze what was going on in my life. Not just my business, but my mindset. Like, because before getting involved with this industry, I was going through a really rough time in my life. I was going through a lot, like a big depression, and I feel like the reason why I got in this industry was because I was motivated by fear, because I was running away from my problems. And one of the biggest things that I can tell you is that that's not a good motivating factor for you, because if you're motivated by fear, then what happens? Every decision that you make is going to be based off of that fear, and you're not. First of all, you're not going to attract the right people. You're going to be always worried about uh, you know, results that don't really matter. Like how can I get enough money to pay my bills? How can I get two people to get in my team so I could pay for my auto ship? It's like your mind is in all the wrong places if that's what you're focused on. And so I just took a while to step back, read some books, listen to some audios, and really just kind of analyze where I was in life. And I think it was like a week ago, I contacted James and I contacted my business partner Nick, and I don't know what it is that they told me, but like I said, it's just being around positive people, being around people who that they're there for you and they actually care, and they're not just in it for the money, like they're actually there to help you and see you succeed. And just by being reminded that no matter how hard things get, I was always surrounded by a support system. That just really allowed me to look deep inside and find my real motivation, the motivation that's not based off of fear, but based out of love. And so I just like I just snapped out of it and I decided to stop struggling because I realized that struggling is all in your mind. Like I was telling James earlier on the phone, if you were to disconnect from society right now, you know, not pay bills, not have a home to live, um, like not have anybody to talk to, and you just went out into the wilderness, right? And your entire lifestyle was just based off of, you know, finding food to eat and survival, right? The only real problems that you would be facing is, you know, trying to find a meal, trying to find shelter, trying to find a way to survive, right? But all of these, um, all of what we consider to be problems, right? Is they're really not. It's really not that bad. Like if you think about it, and so I realized that um, because all these problems were kind of being created by my own mind, I just decided like I don't want to struggle. I don't want to struggle. That's it. I don't want to struggle.
Breakthrough.
And so you know, I had a couple of people actually message me, and they said you know, they were giving me all these suggestions that they of ideas that they had to implement into their own businesses. And usually, you know, when I hear really good ideas, I'm a very technical person, so when I hear good ideas and if they sound complicated, I'm like all on board for it because I know how to execute it. Like I know how to actually put the plan into action. But this time, you know, somebody approached me, had a really good idea, and I stopped them dead in their tracks, and I was like, "Do you want to struggle?" And they said, "No." Okay, let's stop struggling then. Boom. It's
Yeah.
all on your mindset. If you decide to stop struggling, you'll stop struggling because
Yeah.
you're 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 telling yourself, yeah, this little this little hair keeps going in my forehead.
And
Uh,
stop being self-conscious, man. Keep giving the value.
yeah, so it's like it's just all a decision. Like I don't know what else to say to explain it. It's just a decision to go full force and not let anything hold you back. So you know that's all I did. I made a decision, and you know, there's two days that you'll really remember in this industry: the day you get started and the day you get started. You know what I mean? And
Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
yeah, and I basically just had like a like a resurrection of energy that I never had before, just because I made that decision to really get started. And so yeah, I've been able to, you know, ever since I had this shift and I had this breakthrough, I've been able to get 30 leads a day consistently, like to the point where, you know, people are asking me like, what are you doing? Like how are you doing this? I just made a decision to go full force because a lot of times we limit ourselves, and there's really no limits. Like you know whoever said the sky is the limit, I don't know who said that because the ground is the limit. You. So I mean, anything's really possible if you just put your mind to it and you believe with all of your heart that you can do it. And when you have that belief, you'll take action, and then it'll start manifesting itself. So that's basically what happened to me. And it's just like I feel like I'm in a different position now. Like it just feels like everything in my life has shifted, all because I made a decision. So you can do the same thing too right now.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, absolutely. You know, that was awesome. Just to see the growth that I'm seeing in you right now, considering the person that I had talked to in Charlotte is just epic, and that's why you know we preach, to be quite honest with you, about getting out to live events. right? Because I used to have this ego trip when it came to not going out to live events because I had been to so many and I had a vast network of successful friends in the industry where I just didn't go to events because I knew I could call this guy or that gal or connect with them on Facebook, and I put myself in a shell in a box. And the first event that I had gone to in years was the Freedom event inside of Empower Network in Miami earlier this year, and that's where me and Brian met, and we've stayed connected for all this time. And I keep telling him over and over and over again, and I'm saying this live because I want this to really get embedded in his subconscious. The more we talk to each other, the more money we both make. Okay, so let's get out of this, not talk for 3 weeks, not talk for 4 weeks, and all this other stuff. Let's stay connected on a consistent basis, so that we can produce more income and we can help each other grow, right? And you really got to ask yourself, guys, for those of you that are watching this live, or those of you that are lucky to get the recording, what it is that you truly want for your business, right? Brian had reached out to me last week, and the funny thing was I'm already becoming the person that I see myself being, a year from now, right? Like, it's been told to me by multiple millionaires, multiple eight-figure earners in this industry that you become a millionaire 6 to 12 months before it actually happens, right? Typically, it's 12 months. And I just turned 26 about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It actually, it's about I think it's about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And on that day, I set an intention about where I see myself within the next 365 days. And I saw myself being able to manifest $1.25 million inside of Empower Network and an additional $250K outside of Empower Network through my own coaching, my own live events, launching mini products and stuff like that, doing some JVs with different people in the industry, stuff like that, right? I literally wrote all of this down, and then even a couple days after that, I wrote out how my day would look as I wake up in the morning. I would literally have a beachfront 4-bedroom condo right in front of the beach out in West Haven, Connecticut, because currently I reside in Connecticut. Eventually I'm going to be moving to Florida, right? But over the course of the next year, I see myself having a 4-bedroom condo out in West Haven Beach where I could literally wake up, walk across the pavement, right, because there's a boardwalk in West Haven, and boom, right there, I'm on the beach. And I could just, see the sun come up, go jogging in the sand, and then sit down and read for about an hour, and then come back into the house, spend time with my family, eat breakfast, do all this other stuff. Then they go about their business, work my business for about 2 hours that day, and then from there, I do whatever I want. Go play basketball, go read some more or whatever. But I hop in my, bright cherry red 2014 Dodge Viper SRT, which is a $115,000 car. At least that's the sticker price when you actually go to the Dodge dealership. And I also have a big body 2014 Range Rover. And just for nostalgia purposes, a 2014 CLS Mercedes 500 AMG. Now, the reason why I'm giving you this picture and the reason why I'm so clear on exactly what it is that I want to do is because you're not going to get to where you want to go unless you're absolutely clear. And how did I start to envision all of these different things that I wanted that were materialistic? How did I envision what it is that I wanted to live my life as far as on a daily basis? Well, I set the intention on my birthday that I see myself making $15,000 a day, right? I was listening to an Inner Circle by one of my mentors, Lawrence Tam, about don't hate your future self, right? And that ended up causing me to write a blog post about the millionaire mindset and how to really tap into your future self. There's this guy out there, I can't recall his name right now, but he uses the term quantum jumping, where all you're really doing is you're just visualizing. I've been watching this training by Bob Proctor called A Winner's Image, and I've probably been watching it for about 2 months straight, right? I missed one day, I'll be honest. But for the last 45, 60 days, I've been watching this video, 23-minute video, every single day, at least once a day, and he just talks about the subconscious mind, and visualization is key. You want to visualize at least 3 times a day from 15 to 20 to 30 minutes plus on, you want to do that at least 3 times a day, right? Because you want to embed in your mind where you see yourself going, because it's going to cause you to take more action. Because you're only going to perform to where you view yourself, to your self-image, right? Psycho Cybernetics is a great book that you can read on that. But going through all of these different experiences, I was looking at how my business currently was, and I was like, okay, this is not how my business is going to be, because I asked this question to myself. I said, James, how do you see your day being as you're making $15,000 per day? How do you see yourself building your business, right, as you're making $15,000 a day? And some of you that are watching this are probably like, oh, that's an outrageous number, right? Well, it's really not. And I was talking with Brian about this earlier. I was like, dude, Warren Buffett, like, if he was making 15 grand a day, like, he would like be crying to the poorhouse, right? He'd like be like, oh, am I going to be out on the street in like tomorrow, because of how much money he actually makes? Like, the guy is a billionaire, right? So the reason why I say all that, and they're just numbers, right? And a lot of us get desensitized when it comes to income because of sports and things of that nature, right? So we think that those numbers are like far out of reach, when in reality they are literally right in front of us, and it's entirely up to us to just reach out and grab that, right? Because when I sat there and I really sat there and said to myself, okay, $15,000 per day, right? That's when it started to become quantifiable. That's when I started to look at, all right, how many products do I need to sell at this level, at this level, at that level, right? And I started to break down numbers, right? This is what people who are very successful do, right? In order for you to have a picture of becoming a 5-figure monthly income earner, or a 6-figure yearly income earner, or a 7-figure yearly income earner, you have to see it in your mind first. You have to really visualize how your day looks like, how your business looks like, how your lifestyle is, and then focus on that, and just ingrain in your brain what you want for yourself and how you view your future self, right? And then from there, you just keep taking action. Like, over the course of these past 60 days, I've had times where I felt like, I was completely frustrated and completely pissed off, and I was like, all right, this isn't working, right? But instead of focusing on the fact that this wasn't working, I was like, you know what, I got to take action. And that's where the shift happened. And, brother, I want to bring it back over to you, Brian, just because I know you got a lot of value to give. And I just want to get some feedback from you about what it is that I've been sharing over the course of the last couple of minutes.
Well, I see where you're about to go, and I actually want to pick off from that because I've been listening to Bob Proctor for the past couple of days, actually. There's a series called the 11, what's it called? The 11 Laws of Success, and basically, the one thing that I took away from that, that really just kind of changed my mindset recently, also, is the fact that when you have a problem, instead of focusing on it, right? When you're relaxed and you're actually able to analyze where you're at, it's a lot easier to make moves and to execute and to move forward. And one thing that I really learned is like, you're 100% in control of everything that's going on with your life, whether it's good or bad. Which, if you're controlling your life and you're creating bad situations, then now you're aware of it. A lot of times it's just ignorance, and we don't have that knowledge when we first get in this industry. But knowing that you have full control over what's going on in your life, it's kind of like you can go to sleep knowing that, wow, how do I want, like, what does my day, what is it going to look like tomorrow? So one thing I've actually been doing for the past couple of days, which has actually really helped, and I really recommend that you guys do it too, is, if you have a whiteboard, or maybe if you want to write it in a notebook or something, just write out what you're going to do the next day. Because one thing that has actually helped me do is become more clear on where it is that I'm going. And not get frustrated and burnt out and have those days where you're just like frustrated because things aren't going the way that you want. If you have a clear plan of action of what you want to achieve, the only way you can fail is if you don't execute them and you don't stay consistent with your commitment to follow through. So, just imagine, like, just imagine, like, let's just throw an example out there, like a blog post or something, a blog post or a video. Okay, if you knew that one video could make you $3,000, right? And you made one video every single day for an entire year, how many $3,000 sales do you think you can make? A lot, right? So the biggest thing that I want to stress is, like, you have the opportunity right now to be in full control of where you want to be. It's just really up to how you want to manage your habits and do the things that need to be done. Either way, whether you do what you need to do or you don't do what you need to do, you're still going to experience some type of pain. I was actually explaining this to one of my. I was commenting on a status earlier about this. It's like if you're going to the gym and you're lifting weights, right? You're going to experience pain while you're lifting the weights, but you're also going to experience pain if you don't lift the weights, because then you're going to get fat and lethargic and tired and exhausted, right? And so whether you do the work or you don't do the work, you're going to feel some type of pain. Just get used to it, knowing that going through the temporary struggle, going through the temporary pain, you can come out victorious, knowing that you don't have to deal with that for the rest of your life. But if you don't make a decision right away to actually do what you have to do to get through that struggle, you will never, it's always going to be a dream that's in your head that will never manifest itself. And so, yeah, basically, I just wanted to say that because I saw that you were talking about like Bob Proctor and stuff like that, and I've been I've really had a couple breakthroughs in the past couple of days just listening to some of those audios also, and that's another thing too. If you're not listening to audios, if you're not plugging into really powerful information from people who are getting the results that you want, you know, when I first got in this industry, I was taking advice from just random people, and everything started to shift when I started connecting with people who were doing the things that I wanted to do in my life, and I started listening to them and then just taking action right away with what they were saying. And so, plug into powerful audios on a daily basis, and then, once you have a clear plan of action, I mean, if you need help writing a clear plan of action, that's what mentors are for. But once you have it clear enough in your head, just go ahead and execute every day. Just make it a routine, because there's no way that you can fail unless you create an obstacle for yourself. Which brings me back to what I was saying earlier, creating problems. Like, we're the ones that create the problems, and we're the ones that create the struggles. So if you just don't want to struggle, then don't struggle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny how the mind works, right? Like, we all have a RAS, a reticular activating system, and what you focus on, you get. So what I've personally been doing is I got this music CD from Abram Hicks called the Law of Attraction, and it has a combination of daily quotes with music that goes with it, and I literally can listen to this thing all day. And all it is Abram Hicks just putting positive thoughts in my mind to spark creativity, to spark focusing on positive things, to spark tapping into the feeling of accomplishing what it is that I'm striving for, right? Because you got to learn to live in the vibration of what you want, right? Like, the reason why we're doing this hangout right now and why we're sharing these concepts and stuff like that is because we're literally living the vibration of what it is that we want for ourselves, and we're raising our vibration the more we do hangouts, the more we read, the more we listen to personal development, the more that we market our business, the more that we connect with, like-minded, high-quality individuals who are open and ready to pull out their credit card and buy, right? And not the tire kickers who are just going to sit there and watch all day, just like they watch TV, eating, potato chips and sitting on their couch. So we're attracting leaders because we are leaders and we do what leaders do, right? All we're simply doing is we're modeling what other people who are more successful than us did before we came into the game, right? Because network marketing has been around for quite some time. Internet marketing has been around for quite some time, and success leaves clues, right? If we tell you to dive into personal development, right, by plugging in the product like the Inner Circle, for example, I listen to that every single day. I'll play my Abram Hicks music and listen to an Inner Circle. Why? Because I know that my mind is more perceptive and more open, and I also know that my subconscious mind is downloading everything into my subconscious anyway, right? Like, I'm not sitting here consciously trying to figure out what to say to you. I just know that you need a breakthrough. I just know that you need assistance. I just know that you need help, and I know you need some inspiration, and not just inspiration, but some technical know-how. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this, right? Because there's a lot of people right now who are sitting there watching their favorite TV show, doing not a damn thing to go out and live their dreams, and then they're going to wake up tomorrow and complain about how they have a terrible life, right? But you're sitting here watching and paying attention to what me and Brian have to share with you because you want to get results, because you want to go out and make more money in your business. You want to go out and get more traffic, more leads, find quality people, because it's not just about getting more traffic and more leads. It's about getting quality traffic and quality leads, right? Like, I remember I used to just sit there and market all over the place, right? And then I started blogging recently because I put up my bestnetworkerlife.com website. That took me over a year because I was procrastinating, and I was telling myself that I couldn't figure out what was wrong with my blog and that it was hard, right? I was telling myself this every single time I would log into my back office of my blog to work on it, right? And then one day it just snapped, right? I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And I logged in. I played with it and it took me about 2 days. I even asked someone for some help. We sat there, we got on a live Google Hangout, and we both couldn't figure it out. But I was determined. I said, I don't care. I'm going to figure this out. And literally a day later, or maybe later that night, I can't remember exactly, but I figured out what was wrong, and it only took me about 5 minutes of actual effort to figure it out. And that's how close you really are to a breakthrough. Like, Brian just made a decision, right? And once I made that decision that Brian's talking about, my whole business started to change. And it's not a coincidence that we're doing this hangout today. It's not a coincidence that we connected today, right? Because I had a major shift in my business because, I've been sitting there marketing on Facebook, and Facebook has kind of slowed me down a little bit as far as me having the ability to connect with people on a consistent basis to the level that I want to on a daily basis, so that I can bring up my business to where I'm bringing in 5 to 10 new people per day, right? And some of you are like, wow, 5 to 10 new people? Yes, because guess what? There are people that do that, and it's not as hard as you think it is. The reason why it's hard is because you think it's hard. But the moment that you start telling yourself, oh, it's easy to get 5 to 10 people per day, I just need the formula, right? I'm going to sit there and hone in and focus on getting 5 to 10 people per day. I'm not going to listen to this launch going over here. I'm not going to listen to this launch going over here. I'm not going to listen to this guy or that guy. I'm going to hone in, focus on the mentor that I chose, right, and do what they tell me to do. The reason why you're probably not where you want to be right now in your business is because you're allowing yourself to be confused. If you sit there and think about it all the time, for example, in our industry, what do people talk about? They talk about traffic and leads, right? You know what I talk about for the most part? I talk about actually telling people how to go out and make money, how to get signups, right? So what does that attract to me? That attracts people who are serious, that are in the game, and that want the end result, right? Because I could talk to you about traffic and leads all day, right? But what happens is, what I personally notice is that when I talk about just traffic and leads all day, those people tend not to take action. But if I'm sitting there and I'm doing a YouTube video, or I'm writing a blog post that's specifically designed towards someone who's at the end of the buying process, okay, at the end of the buying process, that's a golden nugget. You want to write that down, whatever, because I'm not going to leave this up for long, okay, guys? So you want to take that knowledge and you want to run with it as fast as possible. do some keyword research. I used to think keyword research was incredibly hard. And then I sat down for a night and I spent an hour on keyword research, and I just said to myself, what would a person search for who's looking to buy something, right, in our industry? And boom, it just came to me. And that's how simple it is. You just got to set your mind on the prize and then take massive action. And how do you take massive action? Because a lot of people seem to think that taking massive action is being overwhelmed. Well, it's only the only time you get overwhelmed is when you're thinking too much, because you can't take massive action and be overwhelmed. You just can't. You can't do it at the same time. So once you make the decision to take massive action, which really comes from mindset, right? Acquiring good habits. Like I just read, I'm almost done with the book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. Now, one of my mentors, Lawrence Tam, had a huge income day during one of our launches, and I heard him reference that book. Mind you, I've known about this book for years, but yet I kept putting it off, kept putting it off, kept putting it off, kept putting it off. And I just, something in my mind just said, stop, buy that damn book, right? So I bought it, I started to read it, and there's one scroll that has really hit me hard, and I want to share that scroll with you. I'm not sure what number it is, whatever. Look it up, Google it, do what you got to do. Actually, go buy the book, right? Buy the book, right? Invest in yourself. And the phrase is, I will form good habits and become their slave. I will form good habits and become their slave. I will form good habits and become their slave. And that hit me, right? It hit me because it hit me so hard because I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing this that doesn't allow me to go out and hit my goals faster, right? So what can I do to replace that? What's a good habit that I can pick up that will allow me to go out and hit my goal faster, right? Because if you don't have good habits in your life, you end up becoming unhealthy. Like if you keep eating bad food all the time, eventually it's going to catch up with you, especially if you're not exercising all the time like a crazy mad person who's, in a bodybuilding contest or something like that. If you're just sitting around eating bad food all the time, eventually it's going to affect you because it's a bad habit. But if you're someone who eats healthy, right, you drink a lot of water, you exercise on a routine basis, these are good habits, and that's why you end up being healthy. Well, your business is the same way. So what you do is you form good habits. Focusing on lead generation is definitely a good habit, and then focusing on not just generating leads, but converting those leads is what's really going to be big for you. You see, when a lot of people when they start to get leads, let's say they only generate 2 leads in a day, right? They get down, they get discouraged. No, mail those 2 people, right? Mail those 2 people 4 to 5 times, right? Because guess what? Then you go out and get another 2 people. Well, you just doubled your list that you had from yesterday. So instead of having this negative mindset about where you're at in your business, know and understand that there are people who haven't even realized the power of the internet, that haven't even realized what's possible, that haven't even gotten their hands on training that you've been able to get in front of, or not gotten on a live hangout like this where you can download this information into your mind and take massive action with what it is that we have to share with you. You see, you gotta have a breakthrough, you gotta have a shift, and you gotta make the decision that now is the time. Not next year, not the year after that, not when all the planets align. The planets align when you decide that they align. And that's what you gotta know, that's what you gotta understand, and you gotta know and understand that you're totally responsible for everything, and I mean everything that goes on in your life, just like Brian said. If you don't believe that, go pick up the book Zero Limits by Joe Vitale. Right? There's a practice called Ho'oponopono. I believe I'm pronouncing it right, where basically it just states that you're responsible for everything that goes on in your life. Good, bad, ugly, prosperous, poverty, whatever's going on, you're responsible for that. And that was one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had. I'm no longer a victim. I'm no longer a victim of circumstance. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what someone else did to me. I'm always responsible for whatever goes on in my life. And when you start to take on that personality, when you start to take on that mantra, that's when you're starting to become a leader, because people aren't going to join you in your business. They're not going to buy product from you unless they feel that you are a leader. You got to learn to demonstrate that value. It comes from body language. It comes from your tonality and how you talk. It doesn't really come so much from the words that you say. A lot of people seem to think that they have to talk elaborately and all this other stuff. Like, I used to think I had to use big words all the time. I used to think that I had to wear like a suit and a tie, and like, if you would have saw me back in like 2009, I was always like decked out with a suit, right? If I was at a live event, I was wearing a suit. If I was shooting a video, I had a dress shirt on, right? And eventually something just snapped, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be genuine, and I'm just going to share with people what I know and go from there. And because I became comfortable with myself, right? You got to be comfortable with yourself, because if you're not comfortable with yourself, then it transmutes. Your energy transmutes through, Google Hangouts, your emails, your videos, your Facebook posts, etc., etc. Everything is energy. Your thoughts, your words, your actions. It's all energy. And when you truly know and understand that, that's when the breakthrough happens. Like, I know I'm going through a shift right now. Like, I literally am seeing myself at that point where I'm making $15,000 per day, and how I would be talking and how I would be speaking, and I'm just transmuting that energy and tapping into that vibration as much as I possibly can live right now, because I'm going to take that and run with it the moment that I get off of this hangout, because I have things I have to do today in my business. Why? Because I don't want sleep right now. I want the end result that I want in my business, so I'm going to stay up tonight. I've been drinking coffee all damn day. I'm going to go for a walk after this. I'm going to hydrate myself. I'm going to do whatever it takes to download different things into my mind and take certain actions to today, actually tonight, where I'm still up in the morning ready to go, taking care of my kids and doing what I got to do, right? You got to get to a point in your life where you're just willing to do whatever it takes, right? Where you're willing to do whatever it takes. And a lot of people don't get there, right? And that's the difference. If you want to sit there and look at, well, what's the difference? It's not the technical know-how, right? It's simply saying to yourself that you're willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish you get there. The moment that you get to that place, that is when the shift happens, and that's when you start attracting people to you. And then no longer are you trying to sign everybody up in your business, but you're literally picking, right? You're literally picking who it is that you want to work with. I've told several people this week that, hey, listen, this is the type of person I'm looking for, right? This is the type of person that I'm not looking for, right? It's up to you to make the decision which side of the line that you're in, and then go from there. But in the meantime, I'm sitting here blogging, connecting, syndicating my content so that like-minded quality people can find me in an automated fashion, so that I'm not sitting there prospecting all the time on a website like Facebook, because I'm very good at prospecting on Facebook. But hey, I have a life. I don't see myself prospecting on Facebook all the damn time, making $15,000 a day. It's just not the vision, right? I know that I'm going to have more leverage and more automation in my business, and that is why I'm moving in that direction. And I had told Brian that earlier today. I was like, look, we were on the phone and we were talking, and at a certain point it just hit me. It was like, I'm with my kids and they're kicking my ass, and I should be spending, all the time with them right now, because that's basically why they were kicking my ass with the sticks, because I was on the phone. And it hit me, and I was like, you know what? Instead of us doing this behind the scenes, right, talking about our business and where we want to go and what we're currently doing and how we can shift and grow our businesses, right, how about we do this live? How about we really give people a peek into what it is that we're doing, right, because I know where I'm going, right? I don't care what this, I don't mean this in a bad way, so don't take it in a bad way, but I don't really care what you decide to do after watching this video. You can decide to join. You can decide to pull out your credit card and join our teams, whatever it is, wherever you're seeing this video, right, whether it's in an email, whether Brian decides to release it at some point in the future, or whether I decide to release it at some point in the future as a product or whatever, right? You got to make a decision to take action. You got to make a decision to keep moving forward in your business. You got to make a decision to invest into yourself. And until you keep making that decision, you're not going to get to where you want to go. Because the moment you start to put the brakes on and start to say, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do this, no, I gotta pay this, I gotta do this, I got this bill coming up. That's a scarcity mindset, and you're putting out to the universe that there's not enough for you. So the universe is literally going to prove to you that there's not enough for you. But the moment that you start saying, I believe in myself, I'm going to invest in myself, I'm going to stretch myself, I'm going to do things that I would have never imagined I would do, because I'm growing into a bigger, newer person, and my goals, my vision is so huge that it can't fit inside the current person that I am today, that is when you start to have a shift, and that is when you change, and that is when things start to align themselves for you, where it becomes super easy and super simple, to be quite honest with you, to get the results that you want in your life and in your business. And Brian, I'm gonna give it back over to you because I know that I know you got a lot of value to share, and I just saw myself talking for the next hour. So I'm gonna give it back over to you, brother, and let you just share some value with the live people who are watching this and for the people that are watching the recording, if you're lucky enough to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested in what you were saying. You don't have to stop. Um, yeah, it is. I have been noticing, especially not just with myself, but with the people that I'm working with, that it is getting easier, and it's getting so easy to the point, and income disclosure too, right? Like results are gonna vary depending on your skill level and your commitment level. But for me, this is just my story. When I first got in the industry, I was struggling my ass off, like at the beginning. Like I didn't even have 25 bucks in my bank account, and all I was focused on was I need to get someone on my team. I need to get someone on my team. I need to get someone on my team, so that way I could pay for my auto ship. That's the wrong mentality to have. And I did that for like a year, and I would get people on my team, they would quit. I would get people on my team, they would quit. And then one day I was just like, this has to stop. Like I have to do something different, because if I keep with this mentality, I'm just gonna keep getting the same result. And so I really just started focusing on helping people. And I think a lot of us, we get involved in this industry based off of selfishness at the beginning, because we all want to make money, we all want to live a good lifestyle and stuff like that. But over time, what I've grown to learn, and a lot of other leaders in this industry have grown to learn, is that it's not really about the money, because once you have the money, what does that really do for you? It just allows you to amplify who you really are on the inside. So, there's a common objection that I used to run into a lot of times. I don't run into it anymore, right? Because now all I have to do is just show people proof, and then they just get in like that. But one objection that I used to get a lot was, oh, money's evil. And because I used to market to a lot of spiritual people, because I'm a really spiritual person. Like you can probably tell just by the way that I'm talking, but it's like I was marketing to spiritual people, and they're good people. Like don't get me wrong or anything, but there's a common thread, in the community where it's just like, oh well, if I make a lot of money, then I'm gonna get corrupted. I'm gonna
They
become
justify being broke. That's exactly what they do.
yeah. And in a way, it's like you're sabotaging yourself, because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, um, you're being more selfish by not making money, because you could be having so much money that you could give it out to people. But it's like I see so many areas in society where people, they don't have money, and then because they don't have money, they're not allowed to do some of the things that that's deep within their heart, and then they live this mediocre life their entire life, not knowing what would have happened if they really reached their full potential, like how many people they really could have affected. And so, as I'm growing and as I'm learning more in this industry, just over this past year, I just started focusing more on people. I just started focusing more on, okay, this person just joined my team. What can I do to get them to where I am, so that way they don't have to struggle? Because I don't want to see people go through, what I had to go through. Like, a lot of people don't really know my story, and I'm gonna start speaking it more. But um, from a young age, from about 13 all the way up to 22, I had just been bedridden with sickness after sickness after disease after disease after illness, to the point where it was like I just didn't want to live my life anymore. And I finally got out of that and I got cured. And it's like having that second chance and knowing what lies ahead of you. You really start to appreciate, you know, life. And I don't ever want to see anybody go through some of the pain that I went through because it was excruciating. And I can almost say like 90% of the things that I went through could have been solved if I had a lot of money at that time. So, you know, I really believe like this is something that will allow people to reach their full potential and allow them to really just magnify who they are inside. And yeah, I'm like, I try not to get emotional when I talk about things like this, but it kind of gets to me because, you know, I see people struggling. Like I see like it doesn't have to be that way. Um, all you really have to do is just make a decision to become uncomfortable and do the things that you have to do so that you can grow. And you know, there is no such thing as progress without going through some type of struggle or some type of pain. But what I've really learned along this journey is, you know, the pain is temporary, but what happens after the pain is like it'll last a lifetime. Yes, I'm gonna hand it back to you because now I'm talking. Now I'm talking forever.
Yeah, Brian. You know, you still be getting self-conscious a little bit, but it's cool, brother. We all go through it, right? You know, I'm just, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm excited about, you know, this hangout because it's really just awakened uh, a new version of James, right? To a point that I honestly didn't see before we got on this hangout. But that's the powerful thing about the law of attraction and your self-image and everything like that. And this is why you want to do something like doing a live training at least once a week. I don't care if you only have one person on your list or 10 people, or if you only have like 200 friends on Facebook or something like that. Do something live every single week, right? I don't care what it is that you want to talk about. You want to talk about, you know, some new ebook that you just read. Share that, right? One of the fastest ways. You see, you want to know the secret? Now, I've heard this for years, okay? I've heard this for years, and I didn't listen to it consistently, right? I'm going to say that word again, consistently, because when you do things consistently that are designed to help you go out and have breakthroughs and create results in your business, that's exactly what happens. So I've been told this by guru after guru, mentor after mentor, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's not the secret, right? And they'd be like, yeah, James, well, just do this. And I'm like, yeah, you know, in the back of my mind, you know, a little devil is like, oh, that's not the secret, James. There's something else, right? There's something else. There's something that they're hiding, right, that they're not really sharing with you that you got to figure out, right? Like even some of you that are watching this right now, you're like, there's something that they're not telling us. And the reality is we're literally telling you what you need to know, and it's up to you to accept it and then do what we tell you to do. That's why I no longer worry about things in my business because I tell people what they need to hear, right? And I've had people quit my business because of that. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm not going to suck up to you because it's not going to benefit you. That's not going to help you develop into the person that you want to be. Now, of course, what it does is it really hones in and it qualifies the people who are on my team as someone that's serious, right? Like I see people go through different shifts and breakthroughs, and we all have our ups and downs, right? We all have our ebbs and flows, right? Because nothing stays like this. Okay, nothing stays like this. So you have to know that you're gonna have shifts in your business. You're gonna have shifts in your mindset. And when I really honed in on what it is that I'm about to share with you, and you probably heard it over and 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 over again, but you still don't do it because you're too busy trying to figure out the secret when here's what it is. You learn, teach, and do at the same time. You learn, teach, and do at the same time. You learn, teach, and do at the same time. That's all you do. All I've been doing over the course of, you know, this hour plus that we've been on the Hangout, I don't know how long we've been on here, right? But all I've been doing is literally teaching you what I've learned over the course of my time in this industry, from reading, personal development, like going through marketing training, giving you some insights about keyword research, right? Talking about Facebook marketing, talking a little bit about prospecting, talking to you a little bit about, not a little bit actually, I've been giving you a lot of stuff and I'm actually sitting here thinking about it because I've been drinking coffee, right? But I've been giving you things that I have personally been learning, right? And I'm teaching it to you, right? And I'm also doing it at the same time, which is allowing it to get really stored in my subconscious mind so that I can recall it at the drop of a hat. You see, what a lot of people do is they try to overthink things. They try to overcomplicate things. And I became such a cerebral person. I wanted to be in control so much that I was out of control, right? And that's where we get. When you get to a point where you feel like you want to know everything before you take action, that's a dangerous place, right? That is a very dangerous place. The reality is you don't need to know everything, and the less that you know, the better off you really are, because then you can get some information, run with it, and because you don't have all this information stored in the back of your mind, you can just take massive action with that one particular thing and just haul ass and produce on a level that you didn't think was possible until you actually just made the decision to go out and do it. So whatever it is that you have, right? You have training, you have a mentor, use it. If you don't have a mentor and you don't have the training, then connect with me or Brian, whoever referred you to this video, and make a decision to take action. If you're watching this video and there's a link below this video, stop procrastinating and join. Become a part of our community. Become a part of our team. Become a part of our mentorship. Get the training that you need. Get the training that you deserve, and get the training that you want, right? And get in alignment. Get the network. Get the connection that you're really seeking in your life and in your business. Because I'm looking for friends. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking to make new friends and help more people get paid so I have more rich friends, right? That's if you want to know what I'm seeking. If you want to know what does James really want, I want to have more rich friends, right? Because I have some rich friends, so I want to help grow and develop some rich friends, right? If you want to be one of those people, hey, come right along. We'll hurry up. We'll figure out how to go out and help you get that ring that you see right there, because that's $1 million earners ring inside of Empower Network, right? This is what you got to focus on. You got to focus on what you want. You got to focus on the type of people that you're looking to attract. I'm looking to have a round table of people that I can call upon at any time just to bounce ideas off of, who are leaders, who are producers, who are seven-figure earners and beyond. That is who I'm looking to attract. That is who I'm looking to help develop. And the question really is, are you one of those people? You see, Brian is one of those people. That's why I'm doing a live hangout with him, because I don't do this with everybody. I have no problem sitting here and talking for an hour by myself, right? But me and Brian, we were talking today. We're like-minded. We're going in the same direction. We're in alignment. And I'm like, dude, let's do this, right? And that's why we're giving you so much value. There's so much that we've shared in this hangout. It's ridiculous. Because I'm sitting here, like, now that I'm actually starting to go back in my mind a little bit about what it is that we've actually been giving you over the course of the time that we've been on this live hangout, through sharing our personal stories and giving you some know-how, you have a lot of information that you can take with you and run with it and just go out and crush it in your business and make more sales than you've been making up until this point. And the reason why we share stories is because that's one of the fastest ways to teach you something. I can sit here and say, oh, you want to do this and you want to do that, and this is how you create an opt-in box and all this other stuff. Or I can just share with you how I just made the damn decision to go out and put my blog together, and it happened. Now, of course, right, if you're looking at Empower Network, and you know that you don't have to do all that craziness that I did, right, because you can just get a ready-made blog for you in less than 15 minutes. But for those of you who want to keep overcomplicating things, you got to sit there and really look at yourself, because that's what I did. When I did that internal reflection and asked myself, I said, James, what do you want for your life? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself living? What do you see yourself driving? How much money do you see yourself making on a daily basis? That is when the game changed for me. I even downloaded this app on my phone. It's called, I typed in like law of attraction apps and stuff like that, and this app popped up called Money or something like that. And literally what it does is they actually, like, it's funny, it's pretty cool, I'll describe it really quick. But like, they literally have a car drive up to this huge ass bank, right? And then they have a guy get out of the car, and he's walking up the stairs, and you see him walking up the stairs. He walks into the bank, he talks to the teller, and the teller's writing on like this piece of paper or whatever. And then what pops up is that you get X amount of dollars that day, right? I think it starts with like $1,000. right? And then the next day it asks you, then it goes up by $1,000 or whatever. So, I've been doing this for probably about 9 days. So, for example, in this game, today was a $9,000 day, right? And here's the thing why you want to start practicing this, because if you don't put in your mind what you're going to do with the money that you want to attract, you won't attract it because you haven't set a purpose to it. So you're not going to give yourself the motivation that you really need in order to be able to attract that sort of income, right? Because I remember a couple of days ago where it had deposited like $4,000 or $5,000 into this game. I actually was sitting there scratching my head like, what am I going to do with this money, right? And it hit me, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's the difference. That's the difference between people who make it and people who don't. They're absolutely clear on what they want and why they want it. And once they become laser focused on what it is that they want, they do everything that it takes. They do whatever it takes to go out and win, right? They do whatever it takes to go out and win. Because you're gonna have doubts, you're gonna have fears, right? Come up. You're gonna have people who try and get in your way and try to do some kung fu bullshit, and you just block it out of the way. You gotta learn to keep going, keep going, keep going. I remember I was watching a Kobe Bryant interview when I was a kid in high school, and someone asked him. He said, "Kobe, what do you do when you see a brick wall?" You know what he said? He's like, "I just run through it, no hesitation." He was like, "I just run through it," and that's the attitude that you gotta have. You gotta have a bulletproof mind. And how do you develop a bulletproof mind? Well, you're actively engaging in what it is that you want to accomplish, right? Like we're doing a live hangout. We're diving into personal development. We're diving into marketing training. We're testing out new marketing strategies, and then we're sharing them with each other, and we're sharing them with you as well. So you want to take this to the bank. You want to know and understand that this is information that you're getting for free, right? Or if we decided to sell this at any point in the future, you paid for it, right? But it's worth way more than any price that we would put on it, because we're literally downloading our minds into you in a short period of time. Because it would take you, like, Brian, how long have you been in this industry?
Well, I got in it a couple years ago, and then I didn't really do good. So then I got out, and then I came back in. So on and off, probably about 3.5 years.
Okay, so 3.5 years, and I did the same thing. Every networker does it. Okay, every networker goes in, comes out, goes in, comes out. It's just the nature of the industry, right? I've been in this industry. I got started in late 2006, right? So you're looking at 10 years of knowledge of this industry and what's possible, right? Personal development, reading, getting back into the industry, making new connections, right? That is priceless. That is priceless. And that is what you need to know and understand, is that you have the ability to tap into all of our struggles, all of our trials, all of our tribulations, right? And then tap into our successes without having to go through all of those things for as long as that we went through them. And that's why you want to align yourself with someone that can help you grow your business. You want to align yourself with someone that you can model, right? You don't want to go out and join someone who joins a new deal every 2 months, right? Because that just shows you that they're all over the place, right? There's no consistency there. But when you start seeing people who are consistent, who email you on a consistent basis, who do live trainings on a consistent basis, right, who are constantly giving you value, there's a power in being consistent, right? And by literally getting your hands on some training, right, some resources, some mentorship, and sharing what it is that you learn with the people around you in your circle of influence via email, Facebook, YouTube, blogging, social media, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many different ways to connect with people over the internet. It's crazy, right? And the only reason why you're in a failure state is because you're deciding to be in a failure state, because once you make the decision that there's an abundance of people around the internet that you can tap into, the game changes for you. The game changes for you, because you'll never come from a place of lack ever again, right? Like, I just got my hands on this Ninja Facebook software, right, that I know is going to just absolutely blow up my business. And Brian could tell. Brian could tell there was a shift in me today, because I was like, dude, I've been looking for something like this since January, and I have finally found it. And the funny part is, it's not the software. It's me. It's a change in me. It's a decision that I made that attracted that into my reality, and now I know it's like you get a portal into your future life, right? And then you see the portal, and it's like everything's crashing down around you, and you can decide to die right now, or jump through that portal and tap into your future life and enjoy it and truly live it the way that you want to, right? So it's up to you to make that decision, and it's a simple decision by just saying, yes, this is what I want. I want to live the life of my dreams. I want time freedom. I want to be able to spend time with my family or do things that I love to do on a daily basis. I don't want to be at a job where I'm not fulfilling my purpose in life. All these different things that you probably go through on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly, yearly basis, right? Make a decision that you're not going to put things off until the new year, that you're going to do what it takes to produce now. You want to know the number one time to go out and make money in network marketing and affiliate marketing? It's right now. It's right now. There's a reason why more money is spent in this period of time during the year than anything else. This is where you want to reap a harvest, right? But you won't reap a harvest unless you decide to sow your seeds and sow your seeds consistently, right? Notice how all of that, how long I've been talking, came back to being consistent. That's the difference. You want to know the difference? It's being consistent. Being consistent. And with that being said, brother, I'll give it back over to you.
Yeah, I'll just say a couple of things, and I think if it's fine with you, I think this would actually be a good place to close out, around here, because we've been going on for a while now. But basically, I just wanted to say a couple things. Yeah, being consistent is like, if you want to know like the main thing, like if you remember me telling my story at the beginning of this of how I was like really depressed, and then I stopped producing, and then all of a sudden like that I just had a shift. When I made that decision, I made a decision to do what I had to do. And what do I have to do? The work, right? And just be consistent with it. And no matter what, even if I don't feel like getting up, even if I'm sick, even if something goes off in my day, like I mean, even today, like last night, I had so many ideas flowing into my mind that I couldn't sleep. It's like a luxury problem with your mind. And I went to sleep like at midnight. I woke up at 2 in the morning, and I haven't slept since. Right? And when I woke up this morning, I was like, dang, my schedule's gonna be off. I'm like, I thought that that was gonna hold me back, but then I remembered. Wait a second. I can sense negative thoughts trying to creep in. Yeah, you guys, like, these negative thoughts are not allowed in here. Get out, right? Because I need to be consistent. Because if I'm not consistent and I'm not taking action, since I'm in full control of my life and I don't see a result later on down the line, I'm gonna look back at this day and say, Brian, you should have not let that affect you. Like, there's so many people who go out throughout the day, and they allow little things that don't even matter to affect their life. And the way that you react to them will actually determine. It's kind of like what James was saying earlier with the reticular activating system. Your mind will focus on what you give it attention to. And if you focus on the little problems that really don't matter and aren't going to serve you, then all it's going to do is bring you down. And so the one thing that I would tell you again to do, like I said before, write down everything that you want to accomplish the next day. Execute, take action, and when you're done with it and you can cross it off your list, that's one thing that you had to do that you it's already done. And especially if you keep it in a journal, man, if you have a journal and you just have like all these things that you want to do, and you just keep crossing things off your list, and you look back at it a couple of months from now, and you see all the pages that you just crossed out, what is that going to do? It's just going to boost your confidence level. It's going to boost your belief level. you're going to take more action, you're going to get more results. So there's nowhere up, there's no way down. Like all you can do is go up if you stay in that positive mindset and you just do what you have to do and you're consistent with it regardless of whether it's going to suck or whether you're going to feel pain or whether you don't want to do it. Just do it anyways, because that's the only way that you're going to get results is if you put in the work. Because it's just simple math. It's like let's actually step outside of network marketing for a second, okay? If I want to plant a garden, right? And I have a bunch of seeds. If the seeds stay in my hand, and then a year from now I look down at the ground and I'm like, why aren't any trees growing? It's because I never planted the seeds. So plant the seeds every day consistently, water them. You're going to have a couple of plants that aren't going to blossom. You're going to have a couple of plants that might die. You're going to have a couple of plants that might wither out. But the ones that do grow are going to be very strong, very, healthy looking trees or whatever type of plant they are, right? And when you look back, it's just going to be amazing because you'll look back at the work that you did, which isn't really that hard, honestly. Because one thing I can tell you about success for sure that that kind of startled me for a second because I didn't realize that this is what success really was, is that a lot of people, they believe that success is like this big moment in your life that just happens all of a sudden, and then from that point on, everything just changes. That's not how it is. You got to snap out of that microwave mentality where you want everything like that. Success is good habits that are consistently planted over time. Failure are bad habits consistently planted over time. So if you want success and you do what I said earlier, right? You just write down a list of all the things that you need to get done. They don't have to be like these super big items that seem so far out there. It could be something very small. Like think of a relationship. Think about like, you're talking, like if you're a guy, right? You're talking to a girl and, one day you want to marry her. You know that there are going to be steps that you have to take in order to get to that goal, right? So it's not about the big moments that determine that outcome. It's the little moments, right? Buying them gifts for their birthday, taking them out to dinner, going to the movies. It's small things that when they're done consistently and you look back at all of those actions as a whole, it looks like a bunch of action that you just took, when in reality it's just a lot of small pieces of action. You know what I mean? So you don't have to paint out a picture more complicated than it needs to be, because you just need to do what needs to be done, cross it off your list, execute it, and then look back at all the plants that you planted.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, guys. I mean, we pretty much gave you a ton. We gave you a ton of gold bars that honestly it's up to you to cash in, and you just got to go out and take massive action. If you're still watching this and you're not already a part of what we're currently doing, then just make the decision to get in, and that's pretty simple. You just go below this video, whatever link you see, click that link, reconnect with me or Brian, whoever referred you to this video, whether it's one of our team members and whatnot, and just make the decision to get in, right? Make the decision to join, make the decision to pull out your credit card and buy, because it's going to be one of the most powerful decisions that you make. Be happy with spending money on yourself and investing in yourself. And my throat is getting dry because of all that coffee, but be happy with with investing in yourself. Like, I made a purchase today in my business and I am absolutely ecstatic about it, right? Where I can't even describe to you the type of feeling that I have, how jazzed I am, how excited I am about the possibilities that I just created today by making a decision in my life to invest in myself. And that's where you got to get to, right? Because until you make the decision that you like buying stuff, that you love buying stuff from people that can sell, from people that can market, you're never going to get to that place where you're that person that someone buys from, right? And that's one thing that I learned throughout this entire process is that you got to love the process. You got to love being in the game, and you got to do whatever it takes. You're going to end up paying your $10 at the door, which is a phrase that's been used in this industry forever, because you got to be willing to invest into yourself. You got to be willing to keep going to those events. You got to be willing to keep diving into personal development. You got to be willing to invest in your personal education, right? And even as you get results, you keep going. You keep going. You keep going, and you keep going. So, we love you and appreciate you, and God bless you. Watch us like you watch TV and watch your income grow massively, my friends. And just make the decision to plug in. Make the decision to plug in. And if you're connected with us on any social media sites, let us know about this training. Give us some great feedback. If you're watching us directly on YouTube, like it, share it, comment, because at any point in time, we'll take this training down and just make a decision to join, right? Make a decision to plug in, make a decision to take massive action. And we love you and appreciate you for being here. And that's a wrap.